My parents disowned me after I got pregnant. Now after 10 years my father has cancer and wants to reconnect. Plus update. At 16 I slept with my good friend Jared. He was 19 and illiterate and the condom broke and my daughter was created. My parents, who were great until this point, didn't like that, hated Jared, and wanted me to get an abortion. I couldn't bring it over myself and I wanted to keep the baby. Of course my parents told me to pack my stuff and leave the house and their lives. So I did. I went to my friend Jared's house and his parents took me in. They weren't thrilled but they said that we all had to help as a new family member was in the making. In that time my friend and I started to develop feelings for each other. I had my daughter and about 2 months later, Jared's brother came back into their lives. He was a recovering heroin addict. As we had the baby, my mother-in-law told him he could not stay with us. Eventually they let him stay more and more and he was spending nights until he had a relapse and stole a bunch of stuff. My parents got wind of that. They dug up a bunch of stuff and found out that my mother-in-law also fought addiction after an accident she had 15 years ago left her addicted to pain meds. So they called Child Protective Services on us and a whole damn investigation was opened. It was a dark time. I thought they were going to take my baby. In the end they didn't find anything substantial. But them calling CPS on me transformed into a tradition over the years. As it was a small town, every mistake I made got back to my parents. I was half an hour late to pick up due to my job. CPS charges because of neglect. I was out after 10 p.m. with my toddler. CPS. Christmas where loads of people stayed at Jared's house because it was a big family. CPS because many strange men were there. They eventually stopped it because they were fined for calling them on me unnecessarily. If they had done it more I think it could have been an offense. The last call was 5 years ago. Eventually Jared and I married when I turned 23 and we are quite happy. We worked retail jobs and studied. He went to school for a long time and it took us longer than average to graduate but we did. With a lot of help from his parents. Jared is now an engineer and I work as a graphic designer. We were able to afford a big flat and finally moved out of his parents' house. Our lives look normal now. Anyway, a week ago I get a call from my mother who told me my father was diagnosed with terminal cancer and that his ultimate wish is to see me and my daughter again. I don't really know what to do. Because while they didn't have to take care of me while I was pregnant, I wish they had at least supported me. And while I get that they were panicking because they thought I was going to be an unfit mother, they made my life hell for all those years. Update. After some thought I decided to first meet my parents alone at a restaurant. I wanted to make a decision based on their remorse and development as human beings. And they sadly didn't really change. When I agreed to meet I also told them it would be without my kid. I don't know why but they thought they were going to meet her. They had bought presents and all. They were very disappointed to say it lightly when I showed up without her. They made no deal to hide it. But we talked. They failed to take any real responsibility for their actions. Every apology began with "We are sorry of you." When confronted about the CPS calls, they said they were doing what was best for my daughter. I got really mad but tried not to snap. They brought up every mistake I made as a young mother and that they just thought I was far too young and irresponsible to have a kid. That daughter only turned up good because of luck. After they said that, I laid down money for my meal, stood up, and said, "Well, nothing has changed. You are still the heartless persons that threw me out years ago and made my life hell for 5 years. You will never meet her. She is happy and she has loving grandparents." They started to freak out saying that I couldn't withhold their grandchild from them. I just said that you lay in the bed you make. I left and haven't talked to them since. Mails or letters from them are thrown out on the spot. I am non-US and grandparent rights are not a thing where I come from. My daughter is also in therapy due to her being traumatized by all those lovely CPS visits that were caused by my parents. I will eventually explain to my daughter what happened to me and my parents and will give her the chance to meet them when she is older, but for now, I don't want to deal with their bull crap.